Now, back to snooker matters, and I've managed to get John's head back onto snooker matters. Now, it takes a while. He does love his horse racing, I must say. I'm sure many of you of a certain vintage will remember the original Pot Black series, because it began in 1969 and it ran every Wednesday evening for about a half hour or so. Now, Shaun Murphy is a little too young to remember the original, and in fact, he was only 4 years of age when it stopped its regular transmissions. But when we resurrected the old format last year, Shaun was right up for the occasion. Shaun Murphy made it to the Pot Black final, only to lose there to Matty Stevens. Mind you, Murphy had already made his mark, having knocked in a break of 111 in an earlier round, the highest in the competition's long history.
I loved it last year. It was one of the times where you play and there's no pressure and you just go out and try to play. And I think I'm right in saying that my century break that I had against, I think it was Jimmy, was the second ever and also the highest in the tournament's history. So very proud moment for me. And to get to the final was very good as well. I enjoyed the day. The crowd really enjoyed themselves. And I think anything like that this year, and the event will be a success again.
He's a double world champion, but a demotivated Mark Williams went right off the boil for a while. Now he's on the march back up the rankings again. His win in the China Open last season was his first title for 2.5 years.
So, Mark, winning China, is that a case of confidence restored?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's been such a long time, 2 or 3 years since I won a ranking tournament, and you know, you start having doubts whether you're sort of good enough to win anymore. But I mean, it was probably one of the best wins I've had, beating John in the final, and hopefully it's not another 3 years before I win another one. Can you put your finger on why it happened, why you lost your form for a bit? Yeah, just not playing enough really, basically, and you know, I'm playing, you know, put a lot of practice in now. But I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to win tournaments, but hopefully give me the best chance I can to go as far as I can. Now, you didn't play in this last year, so what do you think of the venue? Different, yeah. I mean, it's only one frame, so I mean, you could just have one shot that it could be out. You know, it's certainly different, and I'm looking forward to it. And what would be your attitude towards it? Are you just going to go for it, do you think, or play it as a proper hard match frame? No, I'm just going to go for everything, I think. Good luck. Thanks, John.
Quite right. Now, both these players renowned as fearless long ball putters. But Williams in a little bit of trouble here, because it's looking good for Murphy, who's on a break of 45 as we pick them up. Steve Davis alongside Dennis for this one.
Oh, now forcing the white there to get good position. 45. So it's not over yet.
Lifeline for Mark Williams. Sure, that was end of match. Had it have gone in, a bit of work to be done for Mark. Overhit that by quite a way, but he has the yellow as insurance, and now he'd like to come up to get on that red below the black. At some stage he'd like to get the black into play.
I think being a left-hander there, he decided to play for the slightly more difficult one, but I think that red you mentioned, Steve, will be available in a couple of shots' time. Well, maybe he should have played for that red that you mentioned, but does it go into the left corner? Difficult to see from that position.
It's a strange shot there. He tried to make an angle by running through instead of just screwing back, as if he didn't want to be too close to the cushion, but he could have screwed that back as well, couldn't he, for the black? That was a lot more difficult than it looked. Not easy to get position. 42 points in front. The blue's the obvious choice to get position on that red.
Yeah, that was the one you mentioned a couple of shots ago, Stephen. Shaun's had a look at it, if he can pot the blue, and I think it is available into the left corner. Can we see that, Simon?
Blue. Blue ball.
Well, obviously it doesn't go into that
Shaun Murphy won.
Corner pocket, Dennis, and the effort of positional play meant that the pot was missed. There, it just doesn't go, does it? This is a tough shot, though. Never in doubt, but not in control of the cue ball. Well, I'd be happy with the outcome should it bounce off there. No need to play the pot. There's still enough reds left on the table. And the safety shot in the days that we're now playing of a foul and a miss can reap much more of a reward than just the 4 points. Your opponent has to hit a ball, otherwise it's called a miss. Regardless of the actual ruling, that is in effect what happens. And so just by playing a simple roll-up off a shot to nothing, you can sometimes accrue a lot of points.
And there's a typical example. I mean, that was a terrific effort, and he just slipped round the back of the red. But referees are instructed to call a miss in that sort of circumstance. Don't always agree with it, but that's what they're advised to do.
If Mark Williams hadn't have been left with a nice red, he could have just put that back and could have had a few more points. But he was given the opportunity that he wanted, so he had to take it there. And a great screw back on the red to get on the black. And now all of a sudden, it's only looking like the blue and pink are the problems. Easier said than done, of course.
$60. $17.
20 points the difference. Blue's going to be a little bit awkward because Mark being a left-hander, it's not the correct side of the table for him.
26.
Got an awful contact there on the yellow, and that's destroyed the position somewhat. Now it's going to be a bit harder to keep on the brown.
$29.
Yeah, that's the key part of the frame now, and he's not hard enough because he was going to have to get from blue up to pink. He's still 4 points behind. That's a bit of a shot back, Steve. That wasn't an easy pot and deserved the generous round of applause.
That was a great shot. I'm sure that Shaun wasn't really expecting that as a choice so quickly anyway. And now this to win it. If he gets on the black, he's just got to drop this in. Ooh.
Has he got the snooker?
38.
I think he's got the snooker, you know.
Two choices here off the side cushion, or the two cushion escape, which would be better. Bottom cushion and side cushion. Well, that could do more separation of the balls, so to speak. Two cushions for me. Catch the underside of the pink.
Well, he's going one cushion. That's a bit more risky. Well, how's your luck? Well, the bit of side that was on the cue ball has took it near to the cushion and middle pocket, so this is a tough shot. Mark Williams, one of the best single ball potters in the game. Can he pull this off to clinch the frame and match? He certainly can. Well, he needs the black. I'm saying clinching the match. Shaun Murphy can still tie. So this to clinch the match. And it's there. What a great frame of snooker these two players have provided us with. It could have went either way.